Hello, and welcome to Chapter 21, Spiritual Belief. This is going to be the first lecture, Art and Spirit, and we're looking at the work by Bill Viola, the artist that you will be introduced to later in the chapter. His work is under the critical process, thinking about art and spiritual belief, and I feel he's a really great artist to represent the idea of how art, especially modern contemporary art, can be connected to this idea of the spiritual nature and relationship that we have to our own personal understanding of this idea of spirituality. His work is oftentimes shown in spiritual environments, churches, and different spaces that have some sort of a religious belief system. He also shows his work in museums and galleries. But he's someone that I think really represents a modern way of weaving in some pretty important questions that are often connected to a historical belief system. I'd like for you to watch this 2-minute video where he asks some pretty interesting questions that reflect on the idea of why. And especially in this contemporary world, he believes that we're not asking that question enough, which was a question that was explored more in the historical perspectives of history. So this first lecture, Art and Spirit, Connecting Spirits and the Divine, we're going to be looking at the different ways that some faiths access the concept of a spiritual state. And so the first learning objective for Chapter 21 is to compare the ways that different faiths have attempted to access spiritual states and describe the role of art in these practices. So I want you to think about, art's been made for over thousands of years, and today art is mostly seen as self-expression, a way to communicate one's ideas, passions, and interests through their art. However, historically, art was really used as an expression of one's beliefs in some sort of a higher power. And historically, artworks oftentimes honored a god or a goddess, and that the paintings, drawings, figurines, statues, they all played a role in trying to link the spirit world to the human realm. So in your chapter, one of the first cultures that the book references is the San people of Africa, who had a belief that through the process of being guided from a shaman, they could connect with the spiritual world, and that by doing this, their personal energy called Num was put into a trance state, and that there was a process as to how they would go about connecting to the spiritual world. And this was usually done by an initiation with a shaman, and through killing of an animal, that would open up a link between the human realm and the spirit realm. And that once this trance world and this had been entered through this dance and this process, that there were all sorts of healings that could happen, and or describing and predicting what the weather might be like, ensuring good hunting, all these really important human needs to be able to thrive as a tribe. And then these paintings would be made as almost like a record to be able to tell these stories to other people of what to expect and the significance of these trance-like states that would come out of this ritualistic experience. And that can also be considered in Buddhism, and how this connection to the spirit world, or a way to visually represent the ideas that are explored in a text, is another way that art has been used to create a bridge between the human realm and the spirit realm, and to kind of teach people the messages that need to be taught so you can become a follower of this particular culture, belief system, religion, sect, all the different words that you can use for a group of people that have an agreed belief system, and that oftentimes historically, there was a piece of artwork that was connected to that belief system to help describe some of these ideas. So here's the Diamond Sutra that was, it's over 1,200 years old, and the value of it. It's required that you take a few minutes to watch this documentary where a lot of the beliefs and descriptions and iconography are described in the Diamond Sutra, which was an important document. And so we're basically looking at these different faiths and these different religions and how they're using these artworks, iconography, images to further connect to their higher power, the spirit, the divine. And so here we're looking at a mosaic that was made in the 13th century. And it's, again, representing how you could potentially sit on your knees or in the in front of this mosaic and almost get into a trance in a similar way that the dance is, just by staring at it and kind of connecting to and being able to communicate with the spirit or the God that you're praying to. And that was oftentimes done through the creative process and through how the piece was made. So in this particular case, these small pieces of glass and gold and different materials were placed to reflect. So if you were staring at it, you would start to have almost like an outer body of experience connecting to this particular mosaic or whatever the visual representation of this connection to a divine higher power. So again, I'd like for you to watch this 5-minute video that explores where this is displayed and the significance and meaning. Here's just a detail of the mosaic so you can kind of see all the different colors and different tiles and pieces of gold that have been glued and attached together through a very specific process to create this amazing artwork. So I'm just introducing you to the ideas that were discussed in your book, taking it a little bit further, sharing with you some really great videos that will help you to understand this idea of the visual connection between art and the spirit and the divine. And so far, I'd like for you to take a minute to reflect on the Diamond Sutra compared to the Byzantine icon of Christ, and consider how the faithful interacted with these holy images and how the followers of these holy images might have related to their own personal relationships to these iconography and religious artworks that were really important and connected to their belief systems. So thank you for listening.